Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're discussing a new international effort introduced in Washington that focuses on supporting stability and rebuilding in areas affected by recent tensions. According to official announcements made on January 15, this newly formed coordination group aims to assist with recovery and long-term development planning in the Middle East. The initiative is led by an experienced American public figure and supported by well-known global financial and political representatives. Meanwhile, additional details about this group are expected to be presented at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where global leaders gather to discuss cooperation and regional progress. Now, if you look at the bigger picture, it appears that similar recovery models may also be considered for other regions experiencing prolonged instability. Factually, that is what has been shared in recent public briefings. Some diplomats have noted that this new approach could function alongside traditional international institutions, potentially reshaping how global rebuilding efforts are coordinated. So, many observers are paying close attention to how this framework evolves on the international stage. Meanwhile, turning to Eastern Europe, there has been visible movement in discussions related to security and economic recovery. Officials from that region have stated that new agreements with the United States may be finalized during the Davos summit. At the same time, neighboring countries have maintained clear positions on ceasefire and stability efforts. According to recent public statements, these negotiations remain complex, and their success will depend on shared understanding and balanced commitments. On another note, that same region is also receiving technical and logistical support from partner nations to improve preparedness and overall resilience. During a recent visit to the capital, a European leader confirmed plans to provide training, equipment, and monitoring systems designed to strengthen local infrastructure and safety capabilities. These updates come at a time when local authorities have acknowledged challenges in maintaining adequate protective resources. Factually, they also confirmed receiving new assistance packages recently. And then we start with the latest updates from eastern Ukraine, where regional authorities in the Dnipropetrovsk region have reported difficulties affecting the daily lives of ordinary people in the city of Nikopol. According to local administrative sources, emergency services are currently working to maintain stability and essential services in the area. Meanwhile, Russian authorities have issued public updates regarding events that occurred in parts of the Zaporizhian region last week. These statements have been reported by state media and have not yet been independently verified. At this stage, conflicting information is emerging from both sides, indicating that the situation remains volatile and difficult to assess from outside the region. In surrounding areas, administrators have also acknowledged temporary disruptions to essential public services. Authorities in the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions have confirmed short-term power outages that have affected a significant number of residential properties. From an infrastructure perspective, this highlights the interconnectedness of regional systems, particularly during periods of widespread instability. Reliable energy access remains one of the most critical concerns for local communities as repair work continues amidst challenging conditions. Separately, technical coordination is underway around the Zaporizhia nuclear energy facility. Both sides have agreed to facilitate repair work on a key external power line that supports the plant's safe operation. The International Atomic Energy Agency has confirmed that repairs are expected to begin soon following previous damage to the connection. This effort is generally seen as a crucial step towards maintaining security in the area and ensuring the continued safety of surrounding civilian populations. Across Ukraine, humanitarian agencies are monitoring the impact of service disruptions as winter weather intensifies. International organizations have expressed concern that prolonged power outages could place additional strain on vulnerable communities during the colder months. In several major cities, local administrations have reported that home heating systems are still experiencing operational difficulties. To assist those affected, temporary warming centers and emergency shelters have been established to provide warmth and basic necessities during the extreme cold. Ukrainian Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko stated that restoration work is continuing despite the harsh weather conditions. She noted that many electrical substations are currently operating on backup systems, and more than 1,000 heated emergency tents have been set up in Kiev to assist those whose homes lack adequate heating. In some areas, curfew hours have been adjusted to allow citizens easier access to emergency facilities, President Volodymyr Zelensky also confirmed that repair crews are working continuously to stabilize the national electricity and heating networks. These efforts demonstrate a persistent commitment to supporting civilian infrastructure and maintaining essential services during this challenging time. So, when you step back and listen carefully to recent public statements coming from Eastern Europe, what stands out isn't aggression, it's exhaustion. Over the past few months, leaders have been using language that reflects strain, pressure, and an urgent need to reassess direction. Factually speaking, these statements are part of a broader communication effort aimed at the international audience. From an analytical perspective, and I want to be clear, this is analysis, this kind of messaging usually signals that decision makers are trying to influence momentum, not escalate tension. It's less about battlefield dynamics and more about shaping diplomatic attention and long-term outcomes. Meanwhile, if we look at the broader regional situation in neutral terms, it's clear that prolonged instability carries consequences far beyond borders. Infrastructure stress, economic uncertainty, and social disruption tend to accumulate quietly over time. That's not speculation, that's historically observable behavior in any extended geopolitical crisis. Now, the important thing here is tone. The language being used publicly has shifted away from confrontation and toward endurance. That shift often indicates that leaders are recalibrating expectations, both for their own populations and for international partners watching closely. I think it's also important to understand how high-level meetings fit into this picture. When senior officials meet behind closed doors, the objective is rarely immediate resolution. Factually, such meetings exist to test boundaries, explore acceptable compromises, and reduce uncertainty. The analysis is that these engagements usually happen when all sides recognize that prolonged uncertainty is damaging. They don't guarantee outcomes, but they do suggest that communication channels remain open, which is a stabilizing factor in itself. Public optimism expressed before or after these meetings should be interpreted carefully. Leaders often project confidence not because solutions are finalized, but because confidence can prevent further deterioration. This is standard diplomatic signaling. From an expert standpoint, these remarks are less about promises and more about maintaining equilibrium, reassuring markets, allies, and domestic audiences that dialogue hasn't collapsed. That distinction matters, especially when interpreting statements made in front of cameras. I mean, if we zoom out completely, what we're really observing is a complex international stress test. Pressure, negotiation, public messaging, and strategic patience all operate simultaneously. The factual takeaway is simple. Stability is rarely restored through forceful rhetoric alone. The analytical takeaway is more nuanced, sustainable outcomes usually emerge when communication outweighs confrontation. And, that's why measured language, restrained framing, and deliberate pacing remain essential in any serious discussion about global security going forward.